But first, we have our first reader. And she is the product of 9 years in San Francisco and 8 years in St. Paul. And she's pleasantly surprised to have lived in Chicago for almost a decade. A graduate of Loyola University Chicago's creative writing program, she has been an editor for Gapersblock.com's book club and slowdown sections, an online coupon writer, technical support for car dealers, and many more things involving the internet and writing in some capacity. She lives with a cat, a guy, and many comic books in Roscoe Village, which she secretly calls Mayberry. Please welcome Rosamund Lannin.
Yeah, I'm pretty short. Hi, my story is called Individual Compartments, and it's about Halloween. So, growing up in the Castro made Halloween fun for reasons traditional and otherwise. The otherwise was funny in the same way a Simpsons episode was at that age. Funny for one reason then, and a different, more intended reason years later. There were aspects unique to most 5-year-olds' experience. 3 women dressed like a tampon, sanitary pad, and the box they came in. Nuns with stubble, and more than one very tall Dorothy. The last one caused me to blurt, "Why do you gay guys dress like the Wizard of Oz?" "Because they identify with her," my mom answered. I nodded. I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. Like many other things I didn't get off the bat, I tucked that answer deep in my brain, waiting for a time when the context that comes with age would allow me to understand. My tiny enlightenment about the actress came about 6 years later, a small, exhaled, "oh," as I watched Judy Garland's wide brown eyes look out over the yellow brick road, her voice trembling in awe of a new Technicolor world. The more standard Halloween fun stood out too. Bobbing for apples, Halloween-themed worksheets, a parade on the basketball court at school. Staying up well past my bedtime to see The Nightmare Before Christmas at a movie theater and getting the kids' special, a colorful cardboard tray filled with popcorn, gummy bears, and a small soda that was almost as exciting as the movie. Discovering which neighbors gave out good candy like Twix or Kit Kats, and who gave out bottom feeder stuff like Smarties and bottle caps. Or even worse, come on, no one likes bottle caps. Or even worse, animal crackers or fruit. Collecting a giant sack of sugar that lost its allure 10 pieces later, and hung out by my desk until it was thrown away in March. My friends hated me. And the costumes. My name is Rosamund, and my sister's name is Peregrine. This is absolutely an indicator of our parents' political leanings, at least in the 70s and 80s. Our mom's beliefs stayed much the same, while Dad drifted uncertainly to the moderate right. Mom was an artist and involved in Harvey Milk's campaigns. Dad had a small role in the Pixar Luxor animation and was one of the sound editors on Apocalypse Now. Halloween was very much encouraged. Mom would make whatever I asked. I had good costumes, too. A carrot complete with leafy green hat, a gauzy pink princess dress that I refused to wear at the last minute because I was going to be Catwoman. This did not go over well with the costume's creators. A fuzzy Dalmatian with Mom walking alongside as Cruella de Vil. But my sister's costumes were the best. Pear had the greatest ideas and the talent to make them happen. One year she was a teacup, complete with a little Twinnings tag, possibly in tribute to her favorite ride at Disney World. One year a fly with iridescent wings and goggles that looked like compound eyes. She liked to dress me up, too, and didn't need Halloween as an excuse to curl my eyelashes, apply mascara, and have me recite passages from Alice in Wonderland. These costumes were all good, but my favorite was the TV dinner. I remember this one the most clearly, possibly because I was involved in its creation, maybe because it was a fantastic costume, or maybe because I really, really loved TV dinners. I could be bribed with kids' cuisine, which if you are a child of the 90s, or had a child in the 90s, was the one in the blue box with the penguin. He may have also had a hat. Paris' costume was less inspired by kids' cuisine and more the TV dinners of the 50s. The tray was made of foam core, covered in the shiny silver wrapping that surrounds sticks of margarine or Crisco. We had an enormous roll of it. At one point, Mom had worked for a margarine factory, and when she quit, the roll came with her. It was really heavy, and I still wonder how she got it out of the building unnoticed. The top left part of the tray held the cake, which was made of light orange-brown foam, dotted with giant, clear red beads. The beads were the berries. I sat beside my sister on our living room carpet, cutting the foam into square chunks of roughly the same size. I was using those dumb safety scissors that never worked that well, so it was slow going, but I didn't mind. I can't remember if she actually used the chunks to create a fluffy, bead-encrusted pile, or just wanted to give me something to do while she worked. It was fun either way, and I'm pretty sure she used them. Pear stopped to review. The costume was amazing, and it wasn't even finished. The peas and carrots lay on the floor, green balls and orange discs I corralled into piles. The Salisbury steak, carved out of thick styrofoam, was a meaty brick red, marbled by white paint lines. The berries on the cake shone rosy pink in the late morning light. It was beautiful. We stared in companionable silence, in that moment together and at peace. And then, as soon as it started, it broke. She started teasing me about something. I don't remember what. I got angrier and angrier, flinging the scissors to the floor, their blunted blades as ineffective as my kid fury. The skittering noise of metal hitting linoleum prompted a look from my mom. "Pear," she said, her voice a warning. "Leave Rose alone." My dad was lost in the newspaper and did not look up, the beginnings of a trend that would only increase. My sister smirked, then whispered something that was like throwing a lit match on gasoline. I don't remember what it was. I do remember that I lost it, throwing the beads across the room and screaming, "Fuck you! I wish you would move out and never come back." I was 5. I don't know who was more surprised, me or the rest of the room. There was a brief, stunned silence, during which I bolted to the other side of our apartment like a bat out of hell. I heard laughter erupt behind me. Halloween came and went. We moved again, then a big move to Minnesota, which was technically across the country, but might as well have been the far side of the moon. Pear did not come with us. She went to college at Kansas City Art Institute. She would graduate 8 years later, but by that point had become one of the youngest accepted into the Whitney Museum, owner of an all-ages venue and gallery, and an artist of no small acclaim. Meanwhile, I got used to negative 30-degree winters, and classmates who had been friends in the womb and weren't too interested in anyone who fell outside that category, which I definitely did. They talked about some earlier Halloween where there had been over 2 feet of snow. I had never seen snow. I realized we weren't moving back to California. There were other costumes during this time. I was Xena, warrior princess, then a Renaissance princess, then nothing for a few years. I claimed I was too old to trick-or-treat, but really, the desire for fantasy and escape had merely changed directions. I read Frank Miller's Batman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, and Alan Moore's Hellblazer like they were holy books, wishing for a mask, a cloak, a magic spell, to ease an adolescence characterized by cystic acne, a deep and stymied general hatred, and various costumes involving a neon blue bob wig and lots of badly applied black eyeliner. Halloween changed meaning in high school. It became another reason to drink Malibu rum and cokes and get home later than I said I would. But secretly, I still loved a good costume. I'd stare at a girl's gauzy fairy wings through a hazy cloud of cigarette and pot smoke, feeling a sharp pang as I quietly wished I had the skill to make something that cool or the courage to try. Pear probably still made amazing costumes, but I wouldn't have known. By that point, she had stopped speaking to our mother, and by extension, me. My dad, always quiet and strange, had become quieter and stranger as the years passed. The demons in his head came out in a combination of meanness and detachment, and eventually culminated in him leaving a note on the table, informing us that he was leaving permanently. Also, my costume sucked that year. It was less a costume and more an excuse to wear a cheap corset from Hot Topic. Like I said, it was a bad year all around. I love origin stories. Bruce Wayne, upon seeing his mother and father killed in front of him, vows to become a bat and hunt down criminals. Kal-El is sent to Earth by his mom and dad, blasting off of Krypton before its destruction. Harry Potter's parents are killed by Voldemort, leaving him with a lightning bolt scar and a magical destiny. Logically, many origin stories involve parents, and mine is no exception. Unlike stories of aliens and wizards and ordinary men with lots of money and secret lairs, I find my own, more mundane creation hard to reconcile. The places that taught me malicious anger and creepy secrets are what love looks like, is the same place that provided a discerning eye, a love for ephemera, and an appreciation for history and camp. My origin lies in the West Coast and Midwest, and a family with enough drama for a telenovela. If telenovelas had less boobs and shrieking, and more mental illness and uncomfortable silence. And actually, the boobs are pretty spot on. It lies in Halloween of 1991, a sister 9 years older, and a giant, shiny TV dinner made to be worn like a sandwich board. That TV dinner gathers dust in my mom's basement, shoved behind boxes of old clothes and bookended by several of my sister's paintings. I doubt it will see another Halloween, but it probably won't be thrown away either. In this instance, I am grateful for my mother's hoarding tendencies, because although thinking of its shiny surface pricks something touchy and unresolved, I'd be more sad if it wasn't around. I have not spoken to my sister in 11 years. As I get older, my memories of her get spotty, and I struggle to remember family myth and legend, while at the same time trying to walk away from it forever. It is a history bound together with ritual, the Halloweens as memorable as the daily, sometimes hourly, screaming fights. This may be why I can recall a frozen meal with embarrassing clarity, but interactions with family members are indistinct. Remembering the chicken nuggets, pile of corn, applesauce, and perfectly square brownie that made up kids' cuisine doesn't inspire intense paranoia and despair, or memories of chaos and financial ruin. It has been said that myths provide explanations for things that people don't understand. My sister has become something of a myth to me. She made the best costumes. We have the same mother and were born in the same state, almost the same city. We spent 10 years living together. She is a famous artist. We don't talk, and possibly never will. I wonder if she feels the same way about our mythology as I do, a story increasingly hard to remember, yet difficult to forget.